healing trauma holistically. What traditional therapy does not want you to know, or they don't let you know. My favorite topic is personal transformation, healing, trauma, all this stuff. I'm going to give you some insane insights on how you can heal, how you can overcome trauma, limitations, triggers, limiting beliefs, stored emotions, all the above. I'll be giving you a list of tools so you can actually do the work and break through any triggers, sabotaging patterns, self-doubt, whatever it is that's playing out in your life. This will change your life. Please stick around. This podcast is going to change your life. I guarantee that to you. And if you don't know who I am, I'm an author. My name is Lewis Huxtep. I'm an author. I've written the book, The Inspired Life Method. I'm a speaker. I run events, and I'm a coach. I love coaching people. Coaching is my favorite thing. I love just helping people live a life that they love by finding their life's purpose, doing the inner work, which is what we're talking about today, and creating a life that you truly love in your relationships, your finances, all the above. So with that being said, this podcast is going to get deep. This is my favorite topic to talk about. So let's rip straight in. The theory of constraints. I want to start there. So the theory of constraints, if you're not aware of it, it's mainly used in business. So I'll use a business example, but then I'll tie it into what we're talking about today. So the theory of constraints states that a business will grow to its lowest constraint. Let's use an example. Say your marketing is a 10 out of 10. You're a 10 out of 10 with your marketing skills and capacity and strategy. Say your sales, your ability to sell is a 10 out of 10. You're a phenomenal closer, great at sales. Say your product, the actual thing that you're selling, is a 1 out of 10. That's the constraint. That's the problem. And most people in that exact situation think they just need to market more. They need to get their marketing to a 15 out of 10, where it's like, no. The product is the problem. The product is shit. You're selling a shit product. And most people don't want to take that accountability and swallow that pill. So that's what it means in business, the theory of constraints. What I mean, when I use it, I actually use it in a different context. You watching this right now, and every human on this planet, your life will grow to its lowest constraint. And the constraint will either be a skill set. It's a skill that you're missing. You're either doing the wrong skill or you're missing certain skills. You don't know how to follow macros. You don't know how to train properly. You don't know how to market. You don't know how to build a product. You don't know how to communicate. You don't know about leadership. You're missing certain skills. That could be the constraint, or it's something within you. It's something mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic. There's some form of a wound or an emotional mental block within you that's sabotaging you, which is trauma, limiting beliefs, everything we're talking about today. So the goal is to find where your lowest constraint is right now. So it's a good question actually to ask yourself. What's your lowest constraint right now in life that's stopping you from moving forward in where you want to move forward to? Is it that you don't know how to communicate? You don't know how to look after your health? You don't know how to invest your money? You don't know how to market or sell or whatever the thing is? Or is there something sabotaging you? Is there something blocking you? Are you triggered a lot in your relationships? Do you struggle to be vulnerable? Is there something mental or emotional going on? If you listen to Tony Robbins and most successful people, they say this all the time. Success in anything is 20% skills, 80% mindset. So with those two factors, when it comes to constraints, the skills are normally easier. Don't dismiss the skills. You need to learn the right skills. But it's 80% you. It's something mental and emotional going on within you that you haven't addressed yet. So with that being said, let's get into the content. I'm actually going to share my screen. I'm sharing my screen right now. If you can watch the video version of this podcast, please do so. I think YouTube and Spotify has the video version of this. So what is inner work? I'm going to give you a big definition and then I'll give you a simplified version of it. So this is the most thorough definition that I've seen on what is, quote, inner work or healing. This is it. It is the psychological, also emotional, physical, spiritual, and energetic practice of identifying and dissolving the contractions and blockages that obscure your inner light or your, quote, true authentic self for the purposes of self-awareness, healing, transformation, and expansion. That is a fucking mouthful. So what I like to do is make things shorter and simpler so you can remember it. This is my definition of inner work. My definition of inner work is to heal and dissolve the wounds and blockages that are masking your true self. Let me say that again. Inner work is healing and dissolving the wounds and blockages that are masking your true self. A lot of people have heard of the statue of David. So the statue of David, if you haven't heard this quote before, Michelangelo sculpted the statue of David. And someone supposedly asked him, how'd you make such a beautiful statue? And he said, it was easy. David was always in the statue. I just chipped away anything that wasn't him. Perfect. And perfectly aligns with what my definition of inner work is. So here's a couple of quotes. I'm just going to rapid fire some quotes at you when it comes to quote healing, trauma, inner work, and all these things. So then I can actually give you the tactics and strategies towards the end of this podcast. So I like this definition here. It is learning. Inner work is the process of loving and integrating all parts of who you are. That's what inner work is. It's learning to love and integrate or heal all parts of who you are. Picture this. I love using this example. Are you a parent? If that's yes, it's easier to think of this. If you're a parent, think of your child. If you're not a parent, think of a baby. When a baby is born, what parts of the baby is worthy of love? It's an obvious answer. All parts of the baby. And every single time I ask anyone that question, everyone says all parts of the baby. Interesting. So all parts of the baby are worthy of love. We all intrinsically know that. But the thing is, you don't love all parts of you. And that comes from, quote, trauma, your mental, emotional blocks, your limiting beliefs, all those things. So remember that quote that I just said before? It is the process of loving and integrating all parts of who you are. So that's what we're doing when it comes to healing. Here's a couple of quotes that I love about inner work or healing. Dr. Gabor Mate, he's the author of The Myth of Normal, really great book. It's a hard read, but it's a great book. He says, trauma is not what happens to you, it's what happens inside of you. So it's not the external circumstances. It's your own perceptions and meaning and beliefs and stored emotions that happen because of the external circumstances. It's your internal world. It's the beliefs, meanings, and perceptions you've created because of or with the external circumstances. Trauma is not what happens to you. It's what happens inside of you. Beautiful quote by Dr. Gabor Mate. Another quote that I love from Dr. Sarah Woodhouse. She says, trauma is unprocessed memories. Really nice. Dr. John Demartini, he says, anything you can't say thank you for, be grateful for, or have love for is baggage. Anything you can is fuel. Really awesome. Last one. Anything you experience outside of loving gratitude is a lopsided perception, from Dr. John Demartini. My definition of trauma is a moment in time when something was painful, wrong, bad, too much, or not enough. If I had to even simplify that even more, trauma is a moment in time when something was too much or not enough. That's all it is. And it's a specific trait, behavior, character trait, action, or inaction. Someone did something or didn't do something that was bad, wrong, painful, too much, or not enough. I hope you're following along. You might have to replay parts of this podcast because I speak quickly because I love this shit. Dr. Joe Dispenza says, to change your personal reality, you must change your personality. And he says, thoughts are the language of the mind and emotions are the language of the body. I absolutely love that. So that's what trauma is. That's all the definitions that I really subscribe to. There are other ones out there that I do like, but those are the ones that really resonate with me and really align with my views on healing for myself and all the clients that I've been able to help now over the past 10 years. So there's 5 bodies. I've done podcasts on this, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. I'm just going to suggest things to you and give you tools to actually do the inner work. And I'm going to actually do an exercise with you on this podcast as well. So here are the 5 bodies. 5 bodies, there's the mental body. There's the physical body. That's known as somatics as well, if you've heard that term. You've got the emotional body, the spiritual body, the energetic body. Those are the 5 bodies to, quote, heal from. Now, as I said at the start of this podcast, it's about holistically healing your stuff. That means addressing all of the bodies. By doing that, you reveal your, quote, essence, your soul. Remember the statue of David. By addressing all of these bodies and healing all of these bodies, you reveal your true essence, your true self, your, quote, statue of David. That's what inner work is. The thing is, when most people do inner work, if they do it at all, most people don't, but if you're watching this, you're probably into like self-growth or self-development or something like that, is what people do is where they get started is where they get stuck. So I'll use an example. So say you go to therapy. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some tools that I think are better than others, but say you do some mental inner work. Say you do some NLP, you do some traditional therapy, you might do some Demartini, you might do something where it's mental. It's like very intellectual stuff. You start to talk your stuff, think about your stuff, you do belief work, all those things. That's really awesome and that helps out. But that's one piece of the puzzle. Because what if you have all this suppressed emotions that you're avoiding and you're actually just intellectualizing everything? Now, I'm saying this on purpose because this was me. I used to intellectualize a lot. I used to avoid my emotions and suppress them because that was a coping mechanism I developed when I was younger. Say, for example, I use breathwork because I'm a breathwork facilitator. I'll keep going there. So I'm a breathwork facilitator. I got certified in that last year. And breathwork is a fantastic tool to help with the somatic body, the physical body, the emotional body, and the energetic body. So it touches on those three mainly. But if you say you go do a breathwork session, you release some emotions, you clear out your nervous system, you clean things up, perfect. If you never address the mental body and you haven't closed the loops on your quote trauma, then you're going to get triggered again. Your nervous system will get dysregulated again. Then you're off for another breathwork ceremony. And you just repeat that cycle indefinitely. Again, what tools you get started with is often where you get stuck. It's that cliche quote, if you're holding a hammer, everything looks like a nail. There is no better tool than others. I use this quote all the time with inner work. There is no ultimate martial art, only the ultimate martial artist who has every martial art, knows every martial art and knows when to pull from the right one at the right time to get the right result. Bruce Lee said that. There's no ultimate way to heal. There's many ways to heal. It's about knowing which body needs to be, quote, addressed or you haven't addressed yet, then using the right tool to integrate it and to address it. Maybe your spiritual body, if you haven't done quite much spiritual work, your spiritual body might need some meditations or some plant medicines or some ceremonial practices. That may be helping you there. The goal with this is to address all bodies. That's what I'm trying to get at for holistic healing. Don't get stuck in your tools. Don't do NLP, then get stuck there. Don't do breath work, then get stuck there. Don't get body work done or somatic work done and get stuck there. Don't do the plant medicine ceremonies and get stuck there. Don't do the Reiki healing sessions and get stuck there. Do all of them. There are 5 bodies to heal. No one body is better than the other. I'll skip to that and I'll come back to this. So the question I get a lot is which one is the best tool to get started with? I get that question a lot. And there's hundreds. If you go grab my book, go grab a copy of my book. It's on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible. Now, in this book, I think I give a list of, 30 different processes or different modalities that are out there. I'll read some of them out for you right now. So this is on page 143 of my book. So let me read some out to you. Ego dissolving, that's my process that I created. My balancing process, that's the one I created. Meditations. NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. There's timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, negative release techniques, DeMartini facilitation, breath work, holographic facilitation, Reiki healing, sound healing, plant medicine, journaling, crystal healing, massage therapy, inner child healing, shadow work, astrology healing. Next page. Chakra clearing, yoga, ecstatic dancing, primal screaming, tantric healing, shame circles. I've done one of these. Traditional therapy. There's different forms of traditional therapy like family therapy, group therapy, talk therapy, etc. Kahuna massages. Those are amazing. I've done a couple of those. Human design, psychotherapy, quantum energy healing, acupuncture, reflexology, CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, EFT, which is tapping, EMDR, astric healing, womb healing, and internal family systems, human design, Psych K, feng shui, probably said that wrong, past life regression therapy, family constellation therapy, angelic healing, emotional code therapy, aroma freedom technique, theta healing, I can't say this one, integrated energy therapy, Kundalini activation processes, somatic movement, and the list goes fucking on. That's the ones that are in this book. Now, I haven't tried all of these. You'll see, so far, I've tried 20 different modalities as a client, and I've been certified in 9. I'm trying to become, quote, the ultimate martial artist. So whoever comes to me for healing work, for inner transformation work, I've got all the tools in my toolkit to handle them. It might be right to do some breath work, or maybe some balancing, maybe some limiting belief work, maybe some somatic work, maybe some meditation, maybe some, tantric touching. There'll be certain things that will be the right time for the right place to get the right result when it comes to healing. So hopefully what you're getting out of this is there's many things to heal. There's many ways to heal. The question that I get, as I mentioned before, which one's the best to start with? I'm obviously biased because of my work, so just take this as a grain of salt. I've tried 20, as I mentioned, and I've been certified in 9. So what I do, I actually put certain modalities together. So my 3 main processes, I've got about 7 processes as a whole that I use for inner work. I have a detachment process, a grieving process, anxiety process. I have an ego dissolving, a balancing, a meditation, and something else. I've got a fair few processes. These are the main 3 that I use. So limiting beliefs is my ego dissolving process. Trauma or slash wounds, that's my balancing process. And blocks, that I use meditation and breath work for those. Those, for me, work the best because it touches or addresses all of the bodies. That's why I have fucking epic transformations, because it addresses all of these bodies along the way. Now, I just want to share one quick testimonial of someone who's been able to do this. So Kel, she's posted this in my community. You get a free trial if you want a free trial of this community, by the way. But so she did my balancing perceptions, my balancing process. And this is on a big T trauma. So please, trigger warning for what I'm about to read out to you guys. So her dad sexually abused her for 5 years, from the ages of 5 till 9. Big T trauma. Sexually, physically, mentally, emotionally, 5 years of sexual abuse, full stop. If you want to read the entire testimonial, just pause the video and read it. I'm just going to read out the main parts. So let me read this to you. To say I love my dad is something I never thought could ever be possible, considering I was bedridden 8 years ago in so much pain. It's been a tough 30 plus years I've spent in trauma therapy, but I am so full of gratitude writing this in this moment. Remember what I said earlier about DeMartini's quote. He said, anything you experience outside of loving gratitude is a lopsided perception. Now that will be fucking hard to hear if you've been abused or you've got a similar trauma or you've been through some painful stuff. I get it. I used to be there too because I didn't understand this shit. I didn't get taught this stuff in traditional therapy that I tried many, many years ago. When you understand how to heal properly, you'll get to a point where you are left with nothing but gratitude and love. That is hard to hear, but you get it when you get it. When you know, you know. There's a parable that I've heard many times that I forget who says it, but it doesn't matter. It says, when we start off our journey, we start off blaming others. Then we heal and we grow and we evolve, and then we end up blaming ourselves. Then we keep healing, we keep evolving, and we get to a point where we recognize there's no one or nothing to blame. Powerful, right? When you get to a point where you recognize your greatest pain gifted you with your greatest purpose, your greatest wounds gifted you with your greatest wisdom, that everything happened for you, not to you, for you to be the fucking gift you are right now listening to this podcast, you're left with nothing but love. I wouldn't be the healer that I am today. I wouldn't have the fucking impact I have had today on just off my content, millions of views, but my clients I've worked with, over 6,000 clients I've worked with directly. I wouldn't have that impact if it wasn't for the trauma I experienced in my upbringing. If my dad was the dad that I wanted, I wouldn't be the man I'm proud to be today. So thank you, Dad, for gifting me with all the fucking passion, purpose, and drive to change the fucking world. Now, when you get to that point of doing a process, my balancing process does that for you. You're left with nothing but inspiration and love and gratitude to go back and change the world. There's a great book. It's behind me. It's underneath my book on the top of this pile. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. It's Viktor Frankl. So go read the book. It's a small book. You'd read it in an afternoon. Really powerful. So short version of the book, Viktor Frankl went through a concentration camp in World War II. His brother, his father, his mother, his partner were all killed in a concentration camp. He survives. He's a very rare survivor of the concentration camp. And obviously you guys know or you may know some of the graphic details. He actually shares some of the details in the book. Anyways, he survives. He comes out the other side with inspiration and meaning to give back to others. How the fuck do you do that? You recognize that everything's happening for you. Your perception is one that serves you, not one that limits you. Pain is purpose, wound is wisdom. How do you get to that point? Come work with me, do my balancing process. I'll get to there in about 90 minutes. It's a really powerful process. So what I wanted to leave you with was an exercise to help you find your trauma and your triggers. Life is a mirror. You've probably heard this before. So what does that mean? Your perception is a projection. What you get triggered by. So 3 things that I talk about a lot. Number 1 is trauma. So trauma, if you remember my definition, it's a trait or a behavior that was too much or not enough. That's what it is. And you have a lopsided perception towards that trait or behavior because it was painful. That makes sense. Very human. Number 2, you have a coping mechanism. This is what you do to overcompensate, overcome, protect, and hide the trauma. Number 3 is a trigger. A trigger is when you perceive something that reminds you of the trauma and it activates your coping mechanism. That's why I say a lot in my content. Nothing triggers you, it reveals what's inside of you. So, play a game with me. Don't judge your answers. Please don't judge your answers. Just listen to your heart and just answer the question, okay? So, I'm going to ask you some questions. You can only use one-word answers for the questions, okay? Think of your parents. We're going to start with dad. So, think of dad. If you want to have pen and paper to write these answers down, it's going to blow your mind a little bit. So, think of dad. In a one-word answer, what's the one thing you dislike most about dad? It will be a character trait or a behavior of his. Something that he did or something he didn't do. Might be abandonment, criticism, judgment, lying, anger, dismissed, invalidating, manipulating. There'll be certain behaviors and traits that you dislike most about him. The other ways you can ask the question is, what's the one thing you dislike most? What's the one thing that triggers you most? Or what's the one thing that you wish you could change about this person? Come up with 3 one-word answers. Pause the video if you need a little bit more time to come up with your answers. Beautiful. I'm going to assume that you've done that. We're going to move on. We're going to do mum. We're going to do the exact same process. Do it for mum. And just so you know, it doesn't mean that you don't love these people. I love my dad. I love my mum. Even if these people have passed away, still answer the questions. So think of mum. Do the same process. What's the one thing you dislike most? What's the one thing you wish you could change? Or what's the one thing that triggers you most about mum? Find 3 one-word answers. They will be character traits or behaviors of hers. Think of those answers. Pause the video if you need a little bit more time and find your answers. Beautiful. Whatever your answers are, look at them. There'll be certain words, behaviors, or character traits. Aggression, abuse, neglect, control, manipulation, dismissed, lying, anger, list goes on, right? There's 4,628 traits that human beings can display. So whatever your words are that you've gotten down, that's trauma of yours. This comes from moments in life where it was too much or not enough. And here's the thing. You now have coping mechanisms because of them. And when you perceive someone doing these things to you or being these things to you, it triggers you. Interesting. These are things that you attract into your life, especially your intimate relationships. Have you noticed? Look at that list. Have you noticed your partners often display all of these traits or some of these traits? Interesting. These are things you run away from, but you run into. Interesting. You will attract people and circumstances to reveal where you have not healed. And you can repeat this process for anyone. Think of your current partner that you're dating or an ex-partner. Repeat the process. What's the one thing you dislike most about that person? It will be another character trait or another behavior. It might be mum or dad's traits and behaviors, just so you know. You can use anyone. Use your boss. Use someone that you don't like. This is the bonus one I normally give you. Think of someone you just don't like. And now I know you're a loving person, but if you had to pick someone, who would it be? Think of that person. Do the same thing. In a one-word answer, what's the one thing you dislike most about this person? It will be a character trait or a behavior. And again, that's a wound of yours. When someone does these things to you, it triggers you. You have coping mechanisms because of these things. These are parts of you that you don't love. That one's very triggering to hear because your ego would pop up and say, well, I never fucking do these things. Bullshit. Yes, you do. Everyone's lied. Everyone's been mean. Everyone's been nice. Everyone's been taking. Everyone's been giving. Everyone's been angry. Everyone's been lovely. All the above. Remember that question at the start? What parts of the baby is worthy of love? You would have said all parts. These words you come up with are parts of you don't love. Now you have to take a big breath and regulate off that because you normally get triggered when I say that. But I guarantee you have. And when you do the balancing process, it's very similar to the DeMartini process for anyone that's familiar with his work. I'm a DeMartini facilitator myself. I use some of his questions and I use his first question, which is, where have you done the trait? So whatever trait that you came up with for those answers, you do those traits. You think that you don't because the ego does a couple of things. The ego generalizes, distorts, and deletes things. So the things that you think are bad, you block out and disown and don't love that part of you. I guarantee you. If you sit down and come do my balancing process with me, you will find that you do these traits. You do them. It's a part of you. You think you hide them, but you're not very good at it. You do it. And when you get to a point where you recognize it's a part of you and you recognize it's not a bad trait, it's just a trait. There's a line that I don't say. I do say it publicly, but I give people a lot of trigger warning before I say it bluntly. But this is it. There is no such things as bad people, traits, or events. Only neutral people, traits, or events. But people filter them into polarization. So all events are neutral. So it's actually a DeMartini quote, but I kind of expand on it. But he says, I've got it in my slide deck, which I'll get up quickly. I have to shoot through. I talk about I do a lot of teaching when you come to my 3-day event. Everyone work with me, come to my 3-day event. I would love to serve you. So let me just skip along to this. So he says this here. Actually, I need to get the right one up. Thank you for your patience. So he says it here. All events are neutral until someone filters them into polarization. If I say the word Donald Trump, depending on your perception and your belief, you either fucking hate him or you'll fucking love him. You might be neutral in the middle. What's the right answer? Depends on your answer. It depends on your perceptions on him, right? It depends on your beliefs. Depends on your biases. There is no such things as bad people. I've got the quote here. There are no such things as bad traits, behaviors, events, or people. Only lopsided perceptions created by human polarization. And again, this is very triggering to hear because people say rape, people say abuse, people say criticism, people say all these things. That's why I love using Kel's testimonial because it's a big T trauma. She was sexually abused by her dad for 5 years. That's a big T trauma. How can anyone or most people say, get to a point where they say they have gratitude and love for that person for doing that? It's a very hard fucking thing to comprehend until you do my process. Do my process and it will make sense. Remember DeMartini's quote, anything outside of love and gratitude is a lopsided perception. So moving forward, what my thing is I'm inviting you to be aware of the mirror. The things that you judge others for, the things you don't like in others, the things you get triggered by are parts of you have not healed yet or you have not learned to love yet. It comes from past pain, trauma. Past hurt creates future fear. What you run away from, you run into. It's like a beach ball. You push a ball underneath water, it pops back up somewhere else. Until you heal your shit, you're going to continue to attract people and circumstances to mirror them back to you. It's a very frustrating thing when you start to see it, but it's also empowering when you have the right tools to integrate it. Because once you get to a point where you recognize all of your triggers are revealing parts of you haven't healed through, so the trigger gives you awareness so you get to go heal through it, then you don't get triggered anymore. That's the benefit of triggers. Triggers give you the awareness of where you get to heal. You just need the awareness of what I'm talking about, and you need the tool to go heal through it. If you want both of those, well, you got the awareness from this podcast today. If you want the tools, grab a copy of my book or come grab a free trial of my coaching. The free trial will give you the full version. It's a smaller version in the book because it's a book. It's harder to teach it all. Where the full version, it's a video, it's a spreadsheet. There's automation set up, so it's a better process. But go heal. Put those tools in your toolkit so when you get triggered, you're able to take the gift of awareness and ownership and go heal through it. So then you get you're not triggered moving forward. That's the gift of your triggers. I hope this made sense. So the topic was holistic approach to healing. Make sure you're using the right tools at the right time to get the right result. Try all of the tools. I like it. I rapid fired like fucking 30 earlier on this podcast. Zoom back to that if you want to listen to that. And go try tools. Do ones that work and get proven results. Come work with me. I'd love to serve you. I fucking love this stuff. You can probably tell by the way that I'm speaking. And I guarantee results, guys. My shit works as long as you're willing to do it, okay? You can drag a horse to water. You can't make a drink. If you're not willing to actually do the work, then I can't help you. If you're wanting and serious about doing work to overcome your sabotaging patterns, to overcome your triggers, to be more authentic, to find your life's purpose, to stop sabotaging your life in all areas, I got you. I got you. Come work with me. If you got value from this, please subscribe, like the video, share this with a friend. If you'd like a copy of my book, there'll be links down below. If you'd like to grab a free trial to my coaching with a one-on-one call, everyone that joins gets a one-on-one call with me personally. I have like sort of 10 of those a day, Monday to Friday. Go grab yourself a trial. The link will be down below. It's absolutely free for 7 days, and it's only $49 a month if you want to stick around. I love you. I appreciate you. Have an awesome day. Bye.